What's up, everyone? It's SethTheProgrammer, and today we're going to be talking about the famous threads going around of Akatsuki versus Madara. Now, Swagkage and Clyde the Weeaboo kind of did this already, and that's actually the reason I'm doing this, is because everyone was upset about the results of that video. Now, I kind of understand, because it was kind of like, okay, the explanations were a little bit more simple. Susanoo, GG, slaps, cuts down mountains, blah, 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 or whatever. And everyone's like, okay, that is not, like, an in-depth enough answer for me. So I came here, I came to slap my cock on the table like a gavel and tell you guys really how it is, because Madara, for how much I kind of shat on him in my previous videos, adult Sasuke, he really does Bukake the Akatsuki very badly, and this is due to power cliffing. Now, a lot of people don't believe power cliffing exists in Naruto and think like power scaling doesn't really matter in comparison to teamwork or friendship, though. However, Naruto, the series, has never like welcomed this interpretation at all. Like, there's like literally the first time we see Madara, he drops a multi-continental Tengai Shinsei and solos the entire shinobi platoon that's probably tens of thousands of ninja, and then proceeds to destroy all of the Kage while not even trying by himself. So where did the teamwork, though, come in there? Because it didn't seem to do anything. And a really interesting thing about the 5 Kage is that they have Inoki with his Keke Todo, which is like the particle style, which even made Deidara shit himself, like in fear. Like, he didn't even want to fight Inoki at all. He just kind of wanted to run away, but he was reanimated, so I guess he didn't have anything to worry about. And of course, Inoki couldn't fight back. And Inoki is also the reason that the Tengai Shinsei, the first one, was even stopped, and then Madara just launched the second one and killed everybody. But still, it just goes to show that power cliffing does matter. It does matter completely. And then there's another feat of Bijou Naruto coming in, and when he gets Kurama, he just slaps away all of the other Bijou. What happened to their teamwork? Does their teamwork not count? What about when all of Konoha tried to Rat Pack Pain? Did that not count either? Where's the teamwork, though? So yeah, teamwork, though, is not a powerful argument for power cliffing. You need feats to compare to Madara. Now, that is not to say there aren't ways the Akatsuki can beat Madara. It really just depends on Madara's demeanor. So let's go over some calcs and some lore of the Akatsuki. Now, the Akatsuki, they're all basically Jinchuriki level. This is confirmed in the data books, I believe, where all of the Akatsuki need to be rivaling Jinchuriki, because obviously they need to be strong enough to take them out, and Jinchuriki are usually the strongest or one of the strongest in their villages. So you could basically say that all the Akatsuki are around Kage level, if not stronger, right? Because obviously Pain is stronger than most of the Kage. The only real one that's debatable is Inoki, and maybe the Raikage, but that's yet to be seen. Obviously, Itachi, Bolos, all of the Kage as well, at least in one-on-ones, and it's just very clear that right here it's going to be a lot harder for Madara to take on the 9 Akatsuki than the 5 Kage. So, and we're also going with the mainstream Akatsuki, no Orochimaru or weird old partners that died off in OVAs or something, just the main ones. We'll throw Obito in there just for the fuck of it too. So Madara, I guess, he has numerous multi-continental feats, like I said before. So basically, his best one, or his most mainstream one, is calling in the Tengai Shinsei, which is basically, he calls in meteors from the atmosphere at ablation speeds, which are, enough to ignite the meteors as they fall down, which is around 3,000 meters per second to 4,000 meters per second, which is hypersonic to hypersonic plus in terms of speed. And for the lower end of geostationary orbit, you would have to have moved the meteor from orbit down to the surface in 28 seconds or so, using the time frame from the anime, which is around 1,278,071 meters per second, or massively hypersonic plus. Basically, he's throwing down a meteor like retarded speeds here. And for the high end, using the minimum distance between Earth and the asteroid belt, we get a speed of around 516 times faster than light. And I wouldn't expect something of that size to be in orbit around the Earth, so it being from the asteroid belt isn't that unreasonable. It's like a couple kilometers wide. It made the entire sky seem like nighttime because it was such a big ass meteor. So it coming from geostationary orbit is actually a really weird lowball. I don't know if the Naruto verse just has a bunch of fucking basically mini states floating around the planet, but we'll just lowball it and say they got it from geostationary, which would be multi-continental on the high end, give about 2.51 to the 27th joules of energy. Put that in the description as well. And then of course, this is just a toying around Madara, not even trying, just dicking around. Even during the whole 5 Kage thing, which people used to downplay him, that whole time he was just dicking around as well. All the damage he took was him toying around, him getting hit by that particle style one time was on purpose to show off Hashirama's face. Him getting sealed in a pyramid was a clone just to like actually point and laugh at the Kage about how stupid they were. And even like the perfect Susanoo, he never really tried his best. And there's actually feats that support this. So later on, Madara gets his fan, and he's able to, just with his Susanoo aura, okay, not the rib cage, not the perfect body, just the little fiery aura that appears when you start up a Susanoo, was enough to tank the anti-Bijou spikes that Obito threw and pinned down some of the 9 tails and 8 tails with. Naruto throws them back at Madara, like way stronger than Obito could have, and they just bounce off of Madara's aura. Not even his Susanoo, just his aura just bounces off anti-Bijou spikes. So you can kind of get the idea that there is some power cliffing going on, because a lot of the Akatsuki members would not even be able to get through that aura alone, just based off of that feat. So Hidan's getting negged, Kakuzu's getting negged, and Sasori's probably getting negged as well, just from that, which is ridiculous to think about. And I'll go into some of the Akatsuki's feats as well. There's even a really good feat where Madara tries even harder, when basically when he's revved up his spirit or his chakra levels to fight by reanimated Hashirama, he tanks a massive Rasen Shuriken, not a normal Rasen Shuriken, a massive Rasen Shuriken from a much stronger War Arc Naruto in base, no Susanoo, can't absorb the jutsu. He's pinned down by Hashirama's Wood Dragon, and he takes it point blank and it does no damage to him at all. Literally nothing. So you think the Akatsuki, all of them, if they took a Rasen Shuriken, they're just gonna tank it no difficulty, and that's definitely a lie. All of the pains were susceptible to Rasen Shurikens unless they blocked it with like Shinra Tensei. You might be able to argue maybe like Itachi could block it with the Yada Mirror or something, but it kind of just puts in perspective. Madara did this without anything, just sitting there with his chakra drained. He tanked a massive Rasen Shuriken, which kind of confirms that he is on these 9-tailed Bijou levels even without his Susanoo, just kind of the aura like I talked about earlier. Madara with his Susanoo was also able to tank the 10 tails Cataclysm, which is massively multi-continental as well. He also scales to the 10 tails because he scales higher than the full 9 tails, and the 9 tails is a good portion of the 10 tails chakras. And then the Akatsuki, their best feat is Deidara self-destructing, which apparently left a 20-kilometer crater or something of the sort. Some people say that's wank, whatever. We'll just wank the Akatsuki here. So 20-kilometer small country-level explosion and like basically the teratons of force range. So basically a really, really tiny country compared to multiple continents worth of energy. You can kind of get into perspective how ridiculous we're getting. So basically, Madara with his Susanoo is able to casually tank Deidara's strongest attack without even flinching. It also should be noted that all damage he took versus the 5 Kage, I'm just going to repeat this again because it's really important. Any damage he took was him toying around. And this is literally shown later on where all of those feats from earlier were contradicted and Madara literally said he was just joking around with children. Now, we could go into some things like, oh, okay, so maybe the Akatsuki now has their teamwork though, right? Their hacks. So they have a few things they can do. So one, if they get Madara to toy around like he did versus the 5 Kage, they stand a really good chance. The reason they stand a good chance is because Sasori, if he hits Madara with his magnet style that's poison, it could very well paralyze Madara. Now you might be able to argue that, you know, if you have Hashirama cells or something like Orochimaru, you have poison resistance and then it might not work. But if it does, and they get him into a similar situation like how Madara was surrounded by Gaara's sand and the particle style and like lava dragons and all kinds of shit, if that happens, then Madara could very well be paralyzed by Sasori's poison. But if it doesn't work, then he just gets completely negged. Pain can't really do anything here. If Pain uses Universal Pole, Madara can easily just counter it with his own Shinra Tensei or Universal Pole as well. He's massively more powerful than Pain. Pain basically gets hard countered by Madara. It's really bad. And Pain is a very like brute force kind of fighter, and it's not doing anything to Madara because he's just so much more powerful. Pain could barely hold down like half of the 9 tails with only 8 tails of its cloak. With Chibaku Tensei and his full powered Shinra Tensei isn't even enough to even damage Madara remotely. His strongest feat's calcing around mountain through island level, give or take. Itachi is definitely one of people's go-tos for a W. For instance, like Itachi's dojutsu might work on Madara, but then you could just argue Madara has superior dojutsu and would counter it. You could do the infinite Izanagi-Izanami argument because Madara has the Renegon, and it's kind of implied that the Sage of the Six Paths could spam Izanagi and Izanami when he had the Renegon. And it should also be noted that Madara's eyesight returned in the eye that he used Izanagi in when he awakened the Renegon, which kind of supports that theory. But even without that, he does not need it. The Totsuka Blade is definitely something to be intimidated about, and if he's toying around and gets hit by it or doesn't know what it is, he will get sealed. But it should be noted that if he does know what it is, it's possible he might be able to absorb it with the Renegon. So he might actually be able to absorb it because the Totsuka Blade is an astral or spirit weapon, and chakra itself is composed of spirit energy. So you might be able to argue the Renegon could actually absorb the Totsuka Blade, as well as the fact that the Renegon actually does take out people's souls, so it does affect you on a spiritual level, which kind of confirmed what I just said earlier. Even if you don't grandstand that, it would just have to be Madara toying around. Even when Madara came back to life and he was like getting clapped around by all the Bijou and he got hit by Gaara's sand, he's literally like, I just wanted to try out Hashirama's healing powers. So you kind of get the idea that almost every scene he's taken an L in was on purpose. I've even seen theories that him losing to reanimated Hashirama was on purpose so that he could like distract him while Obito got the fucking 10 tails ripped out of him or something, so he could be reanimated or revived, which is why he instantly blew out of the deity gates when he got revived. Kisame, Hidan, Kakuzu, Konan, they all get absolutely obliterated. Even Konan with her billions of paper bombs doesn't have destructive force to do anything. Zetsu is actually really strong. He scales to the Mizukage because he was able to take on the Mizukage and all of like Minato's old flying Raijin guards by himself, and they need to be saved by KCM, Naruto, and Chojuro, but he's still nothing compared to Madara, and he's not going to be able to do the same bullshit he did versus 10 Tails Madara, unfortunately. Unless he can. I don't know if that's just a normal technique of his or if that was Unleashing Kaguya that did that, but if you could do that, maybe that would work. Like, give it to Zetsu. Zetsu might clutch it for real. The cool thing about Obito is that Obito is so powerful that he thought he was actually going to be able to take on all of the Akatsuki reanimated when Kabuto fucking summoned them. And then the second Madara appeared, he's like, all right, we can negotiate a little bit. So he is really scared of Madara, and Madara knows all about his Kamui and how to counter it. This was shown with 10 Tails Madara perfectly countering Kamui. So even Kamui doesn't really do a whole lot. And he'd have to catch Madara off guard and like throw him in the Kamui dimension or something of the sort. But other than that, there's really nothing the Akatsuki can actually do to a fully trying Madara that could even make him flinch. It would just have to be if he's toying around, he might get hit by something, and that would be GG. So I'm not taking it away from the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki are very powerful. However, you shouldn't underestimate Madara either. Underestimating Madara is just ridiculous, and the 5 Kage battle does not at all speak of his abilities. So other than that, guys, that's all there is to really say. I'll put all those calcs I did earlier in the description. Madara also has way higher speed feats as well. He's able to keep up with KCM2 Naruto, whereas Pain was barely able to keep up with Sage Mode Naruto, and we all know that KCM1 was way faster than Sage Mode Naruto as well. So even like the most strongest members of the Akatsuki really aren't doing very well speed-wise as well. So yep. Other than that, Madara obliterates if he's trying, and if he's not, maybe it can go in their favor. But other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed, and until next time.